A titan of war lies motionless on the dirt. He has been entirely drained of the tailed beasts that once gave him godlike power, and because of that severe loss, his body is rapidly failing. His oldest rival, the first Hokage, steps forward to stand over him. Given their decades of bloody conflict, we naturally expect a final curse or a moment of gloating. Instead, Madara simply looks up and asks, "Is that you, Hashirama?" He quietly admits that neither of them actually achieved what they set out to do. Why do some massive, world-altering visions die violently alongside the people who created them, while other ideas survive long after their founders are gone? To understand how a legacy actually survives, we have to look at the final moments of these two predecessors and examine how they handled their life's work. This timeline graph maps Hashirama's philosophy of communal delegation. A leader simply pushes the line forward while alive. Notice the original line never crosses the finish. Leaders humbly cultivate successors, passing the burden to future generations, who extend forward to complete the task. Madara operated under a completely opposing psychology. He harbored an intense paranoia, openly stating that he hated having anyone stand behind him. Looking at this second timeline graph, we see the flaw of solitary absolutism. A single massive line attempts to cross the entire span alone, but shatters into pieces before reaching the end. He was too hasty, attempting to execute his dream entirely by himself. One person's lifespan simply isn't long enough to finish the work of global peace alone. Because he wouldn't trust others to carry his vision, he ensured his own failure. A leader's demand for total, solitary control starves a dream of the generational momentum it requires to survive. Lying in the dirt, Madara realizes his self-reliant dream has crumbled into dust by his own hands. He looks at Hashirama and grudgingly admits that his rival's naive optimism was the correct path. Hashirama's dream remains highly relevant. That relevance is standing right in front of them. Naruto and Sasuke are the physical continuation of that shared idea, stepping into the light as the next generation. Madara possessed enough raw power to reshape the planet, but all of that force was useless against a shared, inherited idea that had securely taken root in the minds of others. A true legacy is measured by the momentum a leader inspires their followers to continue. Decades earlier, as children, these two boys agreed on a specific philosophical condition for peace. Both sides would have to expose what was inside of themselves, hiding absolutely nothing. They promised that one day they would sit down and drink together as brothers, entirely equal and entirely vulnerable to one another. As adults, their rigid ideologies and immense physical power pulled them into perpetual war. The armor they wore, both literal and psychological, made fulfilling that simple promise impossible. Now, as their bodies rapidly fail and their grand ambitions fade into history, the vast distance between them vanishes. Stripped of their armies, their titles, and the heavy burdens of their ambitions, they can finally see each other as equals again. Since they are both about to die, they have a chance to fulfill that childhood promise. They agree to drink together, simply as old war buddies. Success in life requires making peace with our personal limits. It demands that we empower the next generation and recognize our shared, fleeting humanity.